Ready. I'm going to start live streaming into the group. Y'all ready for that?
Ready, ready.
I'll see. Look, she's got her jug of water right there, making Susanna thirsty.
I'm like, I can't drink enough water. I'm like,
no, I'm good. We got to start. All right, let's see. What is the name of our group? Healing. I have so many groups. Okay.
The power of microcirculation and healing strong.
I know. So our group name is the healing through microcirculation, because I haven't changed the name yet. So, but I figured it still works. All right. Now the title is Day 2 to the consequences of poor microcirculation. Is that it?
Yeah.
You look nice.
Mm-hmm.
You look beautiful.
Oh, everyone's looking fabulous today.
No, Camilla.
All right, so we're gonna go live. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. All right, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. We are pressing the go live button, which means we will be live now or in 2 seconds. So welcome everybody back to the Power of Microcirculation Challenge. This is a 5-day challenge running this week where we are going live every day at 2 p.m. Pacific to share some information on the power of microcirculation. So yesterday we talked about just a discussion of what it is, how prevalent and important it is in our bodies, and how it affects our bodies. And so today we're going to be talking about the consequences of poor microcirculation. But before we dig into that, I just want to let you know, any videos that you miss live, you can catch the replays in the Facebook group. And also they're going to be sent to your email for those that registered via email. So the other important thing I want to let you know is book your free Beamer microcirculation session. So those of you that are in this group that have signed up for this challenge, you get free access, which it's normally a paid treatment. People pay to get these types of treatments on a class 2 medical device, FDA approved, which we'll go into more details of that and how effective it is. But before we get into those details, I want to show you one more video. You know I'm a visual person here, so I want to show you, not that, but where's this? So many of you, some of you may have seen our Facebook page, Feliz DNA. You may have seen our ad, which shows this. It's a side-by-side visual. So yesterday I posted a picture of a pond versus a flowing river. Okay, that was like in the natural world, what it looks like in nature. Now this is a visual of like our actual bodies, what it looks like to have stagnant pond versus a flowing river. Okay, so this is the video that many of you have seen, but I want to show you just one more version of that. This microcirculation machine, as we call it, this is a visualization of what happens in just 8 minutes. So that's why I want to show you this, to encourage you to book your free session to see how you feel. Let me turn off this music. To see how you feel, and just see in 8 minutes you can go from this to that, right? So you can go from slow, sluggish to a nice, quick highway just going on through. So you'll see it's labeled here. This is before the session. This is beginning the session, so in the first 1 to 2 minutes. This is during, right? And this is right after. So 8 minutes, that's all it takes. Book your session. It's free because you are here, and we are here to not only educate, but to provide as maximum service as we can provide to you during this time. So I believe that's all I had for you today. So if you want to schedule, feel free to email felizDNA@gmail.com. And you can tag us here on Facebook. You know my name, Delia Ford Feliz. You have Susana Romero and Camila Ford Feliz. You can tag any of us and we will get you booked. The locations, and Dean, the locations that you can book at are San Gabriel, California, Corona, California, and is it Austin, Texas?
No.
No.
It's near the Dallas, Texas area.
Oh, Dallas, Texas. Okay.
Area.
I'm an Eagles fan. That's why I forgot. Ooh, Cowboys. No. So,
Maybe you can
all
unmute her
right.
and she can
Well,
tell us.
she will, if we're wrong, let us know, Andine, but I think we're right. So Dallas, Texas area.
She's
So,
near Dallas.
okay, we are good. So without further ado, we have Mama Camila here ready to go. So she's going to talk about the consequences of poor microcirculation. So take it away, Mama.
Hello, my people. I am here to serve you. Just as I told you yesterday that when I woke up 2 or 3 mornings ago and I was like, just like, why am I doing this? Why do I want to do this challenge? And you get to that point where you just want to think of yourself and you don't want to be thinking about other people. And a lot of us stay in that mode versus knowing that we're put here on this earth, not necessarily just to serve ourselves, but to serve God and to serve his people. And so here I am wanting to give you the best service of myself and just letting you know that everybody that is on here, you were meant to be here. There is something special for you in your life. Just the idea that you are wanting to get into looking in the areas of health that maybe you're on a journey, maybe you haven't even thought about it, but you're here, and when you show up, God is there too. And he has a purpose for you, a purpose for why we're coming together as a family to support each other. And so what I want to share a little bit is about consequences. That is something in my life that thanks to God that I haven't had anything personally, but what got me on this journey was the fact that when I was about 27 years old, my dad got diagnosed with cancer, and they just gave him like a few weeks, and that was it. He was gone. And so that catapulted me into a journey, a path that obviously I was placed there for a reason, and I believe that reason is so that I could be here and share with you what a journey looks like when you are on a preventive mode type of health journey. I call it preventive medicine. I just made up my own terms for myself because at that time, I mean, you're looking at 40 years ago, people weren't really into health, into being on top of things. But because I was marked and thrown into this arena after I suffered so much that my dad passed away, it has become a passion. And I just want to be able to let you know that whether you have started or whether you're on a journey, that it's all about when you finally get to that point in the moment that you say, that's it. I'm gonna, if I'm, whatever it is that you're doing in terms of that it's not helping you in your health, and you come to that self-realization, and everybody has that moment that you decide that that's it. I'm not going to be eating pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. I'm not going to be doing, a lot of things that don't seem like they're bad, but when we don't think about it, it just goes overhead. Oh gosh, this pizza is so good. Or maybe, we get together with our friends 2-3 times a week and we like to, have our drinks and or smoke or, whatever it is that we do. And so that there's several things that take you to that consequence. And some would be minor consequences and some would be like major consequences. And so as far as my journey, I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia maybe in my early 50s. And how did that happen? It's like, I'm taking care of myself. I mean, what happened here? If you can just start asking yourself questions, like even whatever comes your way, whatever's thrown your way, like it's not the end of the world, that's when generally we all, are seeking that divine intervention and seeking God more in a deeper way. Other times it's like, because I've been on both ends in athletics, in competition, in teaching, in and I know that when I was like out there hitting those tennis balls and just, crushing people and doing all this good stuff, it's like you think you're on top of the world. You don't think that you're not healthy. You think because you're exercising that, uh, that everything is working. But there's a lot of little subtleties that maybe are happening in our body. And because I consider when you start thinking about your body, it's like almost you're going to be on a spiritual journey because like, we were divinely made. And to me, once you start focusing in to yourself in assessing or reassessing different things that you've done in your life, then you almost have to come out, at a higher level in how you think, your mental, your thoughts and your caring. When you take care of yourself today for tomorrow, you're actually taking care of generations. You're taking care, if you're in that age where your parents are about in their 70s or 80s, or you're a parent and you have younger grandchildren, younger children, then in you taking responsibility for looking for modalities to get at a higher level in terms of seeking different modalities, different tools, different ideas that you can apply to yourself, then you are saying, I love you to your children. I love you to your grandchildren. I love you to your parents, because whatever you apply to yourself, and that was my whole thing. When I found something for me, I felt it wasn't just for me, it was to share with my family. And my family, they're God's people. And because I'm doing this because the Lord said, because you love me, well, my children are part of those people. And then again, you're going up, you love your parents. And then from there, I always just saw it beneficial for myself, beneficial for my family. But you know what? And it was my mother that got me to think that way, because after my dad passed away from cancer, she was like, if he was 67, she must have been about 63. And she was a woman beyond her time. She did not speak the language. We were in New Mexico. That's where we grew up. She was from Mexico, but she had an entrepreneurial mind. And now a lot of people are into kingdom businesses, kingdom entrepreneurship. Well, my mom, she was a kingdom entrepreneur, even though she didn't speak the language, but she connected with farmers. She connected with different people, and how she made contracts so that she could find people for work and take them to the fields. And so anyway, why I'm going there is that there was a particular, I started actually my journey, like that's all I knew is plant-based supplements. That's how I started. And then I started thinking, about my mom. Well, she is already this age. I want her to have a quality of life when she's older, in her 70s or 80s. And that's how I got into thinking of other people, because when she said, this is making me feel really good. And to me, I felt like this particular program of supplements is good for me. It was a little pricey, but I just said, if it's good, when it comes to your health, there you cannot put a price on it, because you will pay a bigger price down the road. And not only is it going to affect you monetarily, but it'll affect you, your children, and it'll affect your parents, and it'll affect your grandparents. Your grandchildren. And so when she said that, I have gotten an energy that I have never had in a long time. And since my dad passed, she was like, probably in depression. She was, lonely. She was by herself in New Mexico. And then I just said to myself, if this is good enough for my mom, it's good enough for the world. And this is how I came out, to where I wanted to touch people's lives with whatever God put in my path. And it was good for my family. That without any, just with a purity of heart and a purity, a desire to serve, that I could, if somebody was in my path that was having certain symptoms or found themselves in a situation, that I could help them with whatever knowledge I had, well then, that's, what I wanted to do. But anyway, I got diagnosed with the fibromyalgia, but because I already was on a path of preventive mode, the doctors told me, they said, there's a lot of women that come in here just like you that you are like 3 years ahead in your treatment, and they're like starting way back here, mainly because you were always thinking of taking care of yourself. And so anyway, I felt good, because it was like confirming that I had been on a path that I selected for myself, that the doctors could recognize as good. And I did go in with the telling them, I don't do drugs, I don't do medications, I want everything holistically, and I set the parameters for my doctor. And when you can go in there assured that you're on a good path, the doctor's kind of like, not a lot of people go in there and say, I want this or I don't want that. And so you kind of throw them off path, but they have to listen to you. And so in my personal story, this is how I would love for those of you that are on to start thinking about taking control, making that statement, being disciplined, and if you're doing supplements, do them how you're supposed to. If you're doing whatever modality you're doing, make it part of your lifestyle. It's just like, if you breathe, you're going to do whatever it is that you set for yourself. So when I was in my early 40s, I participated in a study at USC. I was teaching at Bravo Medical Magnet High School, and it was just like really right there. I just had to walk over. And it was a study on osteosclerosis. I can't even pronounce the word, you guys. But
Osteoporosis.
No, osteosclerosis.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And anyway, the factors that affect your microcirculation with age, the condition of your small blood vessels, become damaged, become weak. And when that happens, then a lot of different situations can come into play. And so the conditions of the blood vessels plays that crucial role. And in your blood vessels, as time goes on, deposits start, I guess you call it plaque, starts building up, and this become hard. And generally, this is something silent. You don't really feel it. You don't know about it. And as a result, as you get older, then the arteries start becoming like stiff and hard, and then the blood is struggling to get through. Okay. So that's just, goes on with aging, and that hardening and the narrowing of the vessels start taking place. And then that's when you start having your problems. And what contributes to that? Lack of exercise, poor sleeping habits, which I have to improve on those, Susanna, overweight, the smoking, the high blood pressure and all that. And so as a result, most people will think that doctors generally just think about heart attacks and strokes, and they're thinking about the larger vessels, or what is it, the arteries? Yeah,
arteries.
The arteries. And they never stop to think that there is that the microvessels, if they're not being stimulated to be able to continue with the blood flow, then you are having those problems, but we're just taught, or we just hear it on TV, that there's this medication, for your high blood pressure, or this is medication, for something else. And then it lists like how many like side effects, on that commercial. And it's like, how can people, but because they never made a decision, it just comes down to a decision that I'm going to research, or if the doctor says I need to take this medication, which, if you're in a restorative mode, you need to go down that path. But don't just take it or go get the prescription. Ask the doctor, well, you're changing it. Why are you changing it? What's the difference? And why does it say it's going to build, water in my system? What is it that's making it that way? And just ask questions. Don't be afraid, because then with your knowledge, you're armed with something so that you can share it, down the road. However, we are, for the most part, far less well informed regarding the effects of the impaired blood flow in the smallest of the blood vessels, because doctors don't even go there. And so they don't even go there. And I'm not saying all doctors, but the majority of them, they're concerned with the 24% of work that the heart does. And they don't even consider the 74% or 75% of the work that the microvessels do.
Yeah, the capillaries.
The capillaries in the for the
in heart disease, they put a stent in the main veins, but that doesn't change the situation of the microvessels.
Exactly. So the changes are like really slow. Like I said in the video yesterday, that everything that is happening to us now, it didn't just happen. It started building up, like in your middle 20s, or even just maybe it just took 10 years, for it to surface, and you were like in your 40s, and then it surfaces in your 50s. So anyway, I wanted to share with you a little story about how when I took part in this study on this atherosclerosis study at SC, they would scan your arteries, and they did blood tests, and they did a bunch of other stuff. But and this is in my 40s. Now in my 70s, they're still sending me like, oh, we still want to keep up with you. Answer these questions. And then I ask, well, what medications you're taking? What are this? And now it's like, I'm off the chart. I can't answer the questions because I don't fit the mold on most people that have atherosclerosis. So anyway, I'm at the hospital. The study is almost over, and I'm laying down, and the doctor's scanning my carotid artery, and he looks at me, he looks at the monitor, he looks at his notes, he looks at me again, and then I see like this look on his face. And I said, oh my God, maybe I'm gonna have a heart attack or something. And he just says, I said, what's wrong, doctor? He says, your arteries are so clean that for your age, it just doesn't make sense. And so then that was a confirmation from God to tell me, my faithful child, you chose a path to honor me by taking care of my temple. And this is what you get: clean carotid artery. And so to me, it's like, wow, that was so cool. So I want to encourage everybody here to just think of that, the consequence of maybe even like just not for yourself, but how you can care for others by caring for yourself. Because God says, love your neighbor as yourself. And when you take care of your health, you are loving yourself. Okay. So, here, the consequences, a little, do I have a little more time? What time is it?
Yeah, you're at 15 minutes, so let's try and wrap it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just want to read off to you then really fast. I was going to expound on them, on the consequences of the impaired microcirculation. And anyway, everybody knows, well, of course, the immune system is weakened, and it increases susceptibility to infections. And I can almost guarantee you that if my body is going through some type of stress, if something is happening and it's messing with my immune system, I can just let you know that I can feel how an illness is coming on, how those toxins that are messing around and if they're not being expelled as fast as they should be, how it affects me. And so I feel everything in my system, and I believe that that's how, you know, God wants me to pay attention. So regeneration and healing processes are slowed down, and that is so important for the diabetic because they need to heal fast, because you know the wounds and all that, you know, don't heal. And I know that Delia, I'm gonna
Can I touch on diabetes? All right, she's bringing diabetes into the mix. So as I mentioned yesterday, my husband received his diagnosis 4 years ago and was able to just like say no to his medications and the lifetime sentence that his doctors had in store for him. And when we started using this Beamer microcirculation device, which again we're going to explain deeper on, it made so much sense that in the diabetes community, what happens is they have this excess amount of glucose in their body because either the pancreas isn't producing enough insulin, or the pancreas is producing enough insulin, but it's not being received by the insulin receptor. So there's this buildup of glucose. And so when it goes unmanaged, and especially if the microvessels are blocked or filled with all this excess glucose, it ends up numbing the fingers and the hands and toes of people with high blood sugars, and that's called neuropathy. And so this is, when you think of trying to get rid of it, people think it's like, oh, like it's this huge thing you have to do to get the blood flow going. But when we found there's this device that like in only 8 minutes takes you from stagnant pond to flowing river, that was just like, whoa. Like in the diabetes community, which I'm well merged into, lifestyle choices can make a huge impact, but sometimes people don't want to be disciplined to eat the right things all day, every day. So I was like, man, this is kind of like a little cheat workaround system where you just get to lay back for 8 minutes and it does its work in your body. So yes, I just wanted to mention diabetes because it was brought up, and that's kind of my jam over here. So back to you.
So anyway, Susanna, if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and pull you in and want for you to just whatever's on your heart, just share from your heart and let people know that we really love them and we care about them, and we're creating this family and in a movement of microcirculation people. And so here we go. Susanna is on.
Thank you, and I love everything you said. And it is a movement, and I want to just continue expanding on what you said. So as I was pulled into the world of cancer 3 years ago, wow, little did I know. I thought in the little that I did know of little things that I had researched here and there, I had looked into holistic things throughout in my life, but never like the focus and the intention of these past 3 years. So what do we know? When we don't have good microcirculation, that is something that will build up, bacteria, viruses can manifest in there, and inflammation. And inflammation is probably responsible for every possible known diagnosis that someone can receive. Something that I think here in California is very common for you to know someone that suffers from allergies. And in my understanding, allergies many times, especially if it's something that has developed over time, and it's something that's just an amount of toxins that have built up in the body. I know in my case, I know people that had problems, and that when they started detoxing and taking care of their health, they went away. They just went away. So that is just something that I believe on a smaller scale, and there really isn't anything that's really on a small scale, because when you get the bigger diagnosis, those things started with something small that started building over time. And in my case, they're saying it could have been 15 years, if not more. And so that's why I really feel I have a heart to just share. Not everybody's open. Not everybody, to many people. And you know, that's everybody has that. You know, I know in my family, there are many people that their doctors is like God. You know, that what the doctor says, and it doesn't even take a lot to just look into what doctors are taught, who they're taught by, how much they're taught on nutrition. I have been blessed that I have amazing holistic doctors that I pick their brain at every chance I get. I just had an appointment, you know, a meeting this morning with my doctor, and he's an amazing oncologist. And one of the things that we got to do as a team, because it's a team, you know, about a year ago, I asked him about metformin. So I guess for some people, when they get a cancer diagnosis, they throw you on that because what do they know? That sugar feeds the cancer cells. So they put me on, and I'm like, we're doing good. And I just asked him one day, do I really need to be on this? He said, nope, we took it off. So now today, one of the things, because of it's important that whatever diagnosis anybody gets, and I like that you mentioned that, Camila, there's power in questions. Ask questions. Do a little bit of, you know, research yourself. You don't even have to go too deep to discover things. So it's important to know what triggered this, what caused this, or what feeds this. So in my case, it's estrogen. So again, a few years back, they started giving me hormone blockers. And so as of today, as of a couple months ago, I no longer receive those as well. So now the only thing that I get is the targeted chemo every 3 weeks. And why is that? I believe because I have done my due diligence and I have asked. And, you know, I think for me, it's easier when I think about what I'm sharing and leaving for my children, you know, and you know, when I don't impose my beliefs or anything, because, you know, I just share what I'm going through. And from 3 years ago, the doctor's saying, you need aggressive chemo, aggressive radiation, and surgery. And if I would have chose to go that route, I have 3 to 5 years to live. I'm like, well, I'm not a gambler, and those numbers don't really make sense, you know, to put my body through all of that. And I may, if I'm lucky, I have 3 to 5 years. So again, I had a great team, a great support team of friends and family and loved ones. And we went through and said, well, let's see how much the natural stuff we can do. And that's why I encourage you to do those tips that we talked about yesterday. Drink water, exercise. You know, prevention is a lot easier, and it's a lot more cost effective, and have fun with it. And that's why we'd love for you to be part of our group. Doesn't cost anything, you know, to join us and share your experiences. And we love hearing the testimonies of what happens. I have been blessed to meet people that were told years back, you have 6 months to live. You have 1 year to live, if that. And now we're talking 15 plus years in some cases. And you know, so I won't go more into that. But again, poor circulation is critical to avoid. And in the microcirculation, that's where everything happens. That's why the majority of our circulation is microcirculation. The oxygen, the nutrients, you know, it's just that's something that I repeat in my mind and heart when I think about it often, is that the microcirculation is where everything happens. You know, I'm sure you might have read or heard or possibly even known someone that looked like the epitome of good health. Exercise, they took their supplements, they did this, they did that, and all of a sudden, boom, you know, they died of a stroke, a heart attack, you know. And I'm not a doctor, but, you know, that was all linked to the microcirculation. That's why In my case, the doctor said the number one thing that I had to do was control my stress. Okay, so it's a work in progress. It's not something where I had to do just one thing. It's a balance of many things. So as we mentioned yesterday, we recommended one tip is to drink water. 65 ounces a day is what a regular, normal, healthy person, when you're dealing with any type of diagnosis, you're looking at 100 ounces to 150. Skin brushing, controlling the stress, green tea. I did not know. And so all the cancer centers, I just thought, oh, well, you know, yeah, green tea has antioxidants. Well, there's two other things that I discovered is that, well, green tea helps open up the blood vessels. Green tea helps, impacts, kills the stem cells, what the circulating tumor cells. Chemo doesn't touch those. That and I don't want to get in trouble. So anyway, but reducing the alcohol and drinking good alcohol. I seen an article today. What's better, wine or tequila? Well, I really don't drink, so that's again that's really big. And then, you know, exercising, stretching, getting your. I have an inversion table and I love it. It stretches my back and it feels really good. Getting a massage. But again, I really want to encourage you and invite you to get a free session on our microcirculation machine and see how it impacts you. You know, it doesn't hurt to try, and at least you'll know that this is something that is out there. This is also a device that is in many chiropractic offices and many cancer centers. The ones that I go to have them, and I love it. And I know that it's been a catalyst to where I'm at right now. So with that, it's good to see everyone. Please put in your questions, get them answered, and I'm excited. We'll see you here tomorrow.
I want to let you know tomorrow we'll have a guest speaker, and she has a tremendous, you know, story to share, and so we'll be bringing her on tomorrow, and I'm excited to be able to present her to you guys. So if anybody has any questions, if not, we'll go ahead and call it. Yes, Delia, do you have anything to say? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. Pacific, and message us to schedule your session. And that's really it. I just want to touch on the whole generation aspect that you brought up. Super powerful. Like this device right here, it's something anyone can do. So a lot of the different health protocols require you to eat a certain supplement, eat a certain way, or do things that are invasive to a person's young, free living lifestyle that doesn't really want to change things. This is non-invasive. Like it really just gives you 8 minutes of relaxation, which everybody wants that. So, so yeah, like this is something that once you learn it for yourself, it can benefit your whole family, and what a blessing. So I'm witness that the benefits of a mama knowing a thing or two. So that's really it. We're going to sign out, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hit us up with questions in the Facebook group comments, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.